Hello, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. Hey! So today we're here with Tech Life Weekly, bringing you updates on what's going on in the world of technology so that you can help run your business smoother, quicker, better, all the things that will help you do business better. We're here with our tech diva and my friend, Miss Francine Gregory, all the way from Sacramento, California. She is in real estate, so if you're looking for a nice place, you might want to call Fran. Also, if you're having trouble with your technology, you need to call Fran. In addition to that, I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So we hope that you'll sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation today. We're going to be hearing from our digital marketing strategist, Miss Terry Johnson Online, all the way from New York City, will be joining us today as well. And hopefully we'll hear from Dr. Chachi all the way from Florida. So with that, we want to thank you for tuning in, and we're going to get this party started.
All right. So we are now moving into this day in tech history. And I got a couple of little stories for us. Uh, okay. I'm going to start with, gaming. Well, maybe, no, I'm going to start with some cameras. Remember the Polaroid instant camera? Well, the
Uh-huh.
Polaroid instant camera goes on sale. I think I got one of those over in a box over there. November 28th, 1948, just in time for Christmas shopping season. 57 units. Okay, yeah, I did say 57 units of the first commercial instant camera, the Polaroid Land camera model 95, go on sale at the Jordan Marsh department store in Boston. It produced sepia tone photographs in about a minute. The Model
Mm.
95 became a hit as almost as quickly. Polaroid believed that the 57 units would be enough to last through Christmas. Okay, no, all 50 units and all the film available were sold on the first day. It was simple to use, portable, and the instant gratification that came from the self-developing film made the camera very popular. The name Land came from the camera's inventor, Edwin H. Land, who was also the company's founder. Nearly 1
Mm.
million Model 95s were produced, setting the stage for the Polaroid flagship product line, making the company's name synonymous with instant film and the cameras that used them. True black and white film, True black and white instant film was released in 1950, but Polaroid didn't create color film until 1963. Polaroid produced their instant film cameras until 2008. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they bring something out for Christmas where they brought back the instant camera with
Yes,
the
I bought one for my granddaughter a couple of Christmases ago, and it put out these little Instamatic pictures, Polaroid pictures, like you got
Mhm.
in the photo booth back in the 60s and the 70s. So
Yes.
yeah, little tiny squares, and the film was extremely expensive.
Right, right. So, Polaroid, like I gotta go check and see what year that one is I have over there. It might be worth some money. Anywho, 1979, November 29th, Atari introduces their first product. Anybody can guess what it was?
Was it the game?
Atari is the game company. Their first
Uh-huh.
product
Pong?
was,
Was it
yep,
Pong?
it was Pong.
Oh, I had Pong. I remember Pong. We thought we were
Yes.
hot stuff, but we had Pong.
Yes. So Pong, which would become the world's first commercially successful video game, the
Really?
popularity of Pong sparked the beginning of the video game industry, with Atari being the leader in both arcade and home video gaming industries through the early 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're number one anymore. Okay, a couple of more stories here. IBM 7090 was delivered November 30th, 1959. It delivered the first two IBM 7090 mainframe computers, one of the first commercially produced fully transistorized computers. Um, and this took up a whole room.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge. Uh, the 7090 and the later 7094 were notable for being used by NASA to control the Mercury and Gemini space flights, along with many other significant and government applications in the 1960s. Some 7090s were even used through the 70s into the 80s. I think there was a computer that they had not measured the room for in what was a movie with the ladies that were, oh my gosh, the ladies who did the numbers for the NASA
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures. Yes, the Hidden Figures. So it was that same computer that they didn't measure the room for, trying to get it in there. I'm
Oh,
like, they just thought
yes.
it was gonna show up. Anyway,
Oh
Barnes
my
and
goodness.
Barnes and Noble releases the Nook, and that was November 30th, 2009. And it's their first ebook reader to compete with the highly successful Amazon Kindle released 2 years earlier. I don't know if the Nook is still doing okay, and I don't know if Kindle is doing okay, because Kindle you can get on your phone, computer, or any device. So I'm not sure how that's going.
I'm not either because I have a
I don't
Kindle
know.
over here and I haven't tried to activate it. It's been laying dormant for so long. I really don't know.
Me either.
Mm. I mean, because I have it on my phone, so I'm cool with it on my phone or my desktop or my iPad.
Hmm.
So
Right. But I don't know if there's still if the Nook is selling or I
I
don't know
don't
what's
either.
going on. I haven't heard
Any-
anything about it.
Anybody know in the clubhouse we
And
have
they
Shanu,
used
Dr.
to
Tasha.
have what would you call it? Like kiosks type setups in Barnes and Nobles, but I don't see them there anymore.
Where you can go buy the Nook when you, yeah.
And they teach you how to use it and all of that.
But it seems to me, but it's another device that somebody has to use when all of the Amazon, all of the tablets have, you can put the reader on there. You can get an e-reader on there. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking it defaulted to Kindle or Amazon, or you can do Google. Google has books that you can download for e-reading as well. So does Apple, but the most notable is the Amazon Kindle.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Um, okay, I'm gonna leave that one for later because that's a long one. Okay, let's see. AOL goes unlimited. Anybody remember getting those CDs in the mail?
All the
America, I know it was tiring. America Online launches a new subscription plan offering their subscribers unlimited dial-up internet access for $19.95 a month. Previously, AOL charged $9.95 a month for 5 hours of usage. Ooh, that was getting over. Wow, because it took you about 5 hours to get online.
Those are the days when you had to decide exactly what you wanted to do and plan it out, but you can't go over the 5 hours now. So sit down and plan out what you want to do.
Wow. Their new plan brought in over 1 million new customers to AOL within weeks, and daily usage doubled among subscribers to a whole 32 minutes per day. The huge increase in usage overloads AOL's infrastructure, with the result being that many of their subscribers could not access the service. Class action lawsuits were filed by angry subscribers who could no longer access the service that they were paying for, regardless of their trouble, by offering unlimited internet access for a reasonable fee. AOL helped facilitate increased adoption of the internet usage among the public, still becoming acclimated to the information superhighway. So if they had not made it unlimited, then I don't know where we would be right now, because I don't understand $10 for 5 hours.
Well, like you said, it takes 30 minutes just to power up. Um, and, it was new. It's just
It
like
was.
anything else. Like when they made the first automobile, it probably only went 30 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
It's that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I have a comment here from Chanu. She says, who has a landline for dial-up?
That's a good question.
Okay. If you have a
Right.
landline, put one in the chat.
Right, because you have to, in order to use the technology back then, you had to have dial-up so you were taking up your phone line as well as using the internet speed. So it was taking up two pieces of real estate. That's not wasn't all that well, anyway, we lived through it. No, look, my final story here. The domain name business.com sells for $7.5 million November 1st, 1999. At the time, it was the most expensive domain sold in history and still ranks in the top 10 all-time most expensive domain names. I wonder who owns it now. You want to go look.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if
And
they got
it
their
is
money's
owned by it is owned by somebody. Take your finance team to the next level. Advertise with us, starting a business, finance. Who I don't know who this is. This the business?
.com.
I'm looking at it, but I don't know who this company is. Free advice from. I don't know who these people are.
They're business.com.
Okay. But you would think it was the business
I know,
magazine.
but they have a brand.
Who is this? I don't know who these people are, but they own the name.
And Mark says he has a landline for business.
Oh,
Okay. Very good.
very good.
He says here, someone just emailed me and offered $1,000 for my domain. I can be bought. But they're going to have to do better than that for a domain that I have had for 25 years. Okay.
What domain, which is that? Is that the AskMark Ward domain? Mark? That is just interesting. Anyway, that is my time.
His newdesign.com is the one they offered.
All right.
Okay.
Counter that offer, Mark.
Yeah.
I'd counter. Get what you want for that. They want it. On another note, Tesla bought the domain name from somebody here in Sacramento, and I think they paid them $10,000.
Wow.
I was like, okay. So he didn't come up with the name. Somebody else here had the domain. I'm like, yeah, interesting. That's all I have for this week in tech history.
All righty. Well, here we are.
Okay, you got stuff. Terry is coming up with some stuff now. Go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
I don't know, but I requested to go before Terry if possible.
Sure. Before Terry Lena or before Terry Johnson?
Before TJ.
Okay. All right, we got you. Terralina?
All righty, Daddy. Hi, everybody. It's good to be in the house. And, I always like to have a couple of, what would you call them? Human interest stories.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see what I'm going to share with you first. Uh, yeah, I want to share this story about this robot. We always talk about these robots. So let's take a look at this little thing. Let me see if I can share my screen and get this. Um,
And while you're pulling that up, Mark has a comment. He said years ago, somebody wanted to buy his new design. They were a company that marketed nude beaches. Laugh out loud. That's niche, only in America.
there you
Growing
go.
this park in Los Angeles.
Like the thing about the Star Wars.
Meet the K5 robot.
We actually posted it on social media, and we got so many like, "Oh my God, it's so cute! It's genius!" Yeah.
People fixing the world.
Welcome to the city of Huntington Park.
The Robocop patrols a circuit around Salt Lake Park in South LA. It's got 360-degree video, and it uses AI to detect anomalies such as fights or vandalism. You can push this button to contact a real police officer, but it doesn't have any weapons. It's made by a company in Silicon Valley.
No weapons. We actually draw a very, very thick line between what we do and weaponry. And the reason for that is we're there to observe and report. And so if you're going to try to intervene or intercept any kind of negative activities, that's something where you need a human involved.
The park has seen antisocial behavior and trouble with gangs. So what do the locals think?
I like the robot. I think it's really nice to have around, and I think it makes the park feel safer.
It does kind of like help prevent some stuff. Makes people think twice.
Having a robot is something that we could use. Police can't always be on top of things. Things always happen behind their backyard that go unnoticed.
There was an incident like a while back where I think some kids were vandalizing property and the police arrived right away.
Because of the robot?
Yes.
You don't feel that it's interfering in your privacy?
I mean, not really. It's not like it follows me home,
But not everyone is a fan.
Oh, I seen kids kicking it, smacking it with their skateboards. I don't care.
It costs $75,000 a year, that robot.
That thing?
Yeah. You don't think that's good money?
They should give it to the poor people, man.
The police say during a pilot, 50% fewer crimes were reported, and there was a 30% increase in arrests. Just don't ask it to go upstairs.
Okay, so basically, for those of you who are listening over on Clubhouse, we just showed a video of a robot patrolling a park in LA, in Huntington Beach.
At Fidelity, your dedicated advisor will work with you on a comprehensive wealth plan across your full picture.
Close your browser.
Okay, I just closed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, the robots patrolling the park. And my question to you is, how would you feel? You're sitting there on a park bench or having a picnic with your kids, or your kids are on the swings, and this robot is monitoring your activity.
I'm gonna let y'all answer, then I'm gonna take you one better, or not one better. I'm gonna give you a little bit more insight to where they think they're gonna go. We got a comment here from, is the robot also racist?
I don't know, because the robot is operating by cameras, and so the operator, I would think, decides when to stop the robot, when to increase surveillance, when to send patrol cars or whatever, when to dispatch. So I don't know. I don't care what they say about robots. It's all about human
Well, the
control.
humans have got to program them, right?
Exactly. And monitor and
Okay,
decide
so
what
I'm
actions the robot takes.
okay. With this in line, since you brought this up, Terry, there was a article in NPR on November 28th where the San Francisco considers a law allowing enforcement robots to use lethal force.
How does the robot use lethal force? This robot is unarmed. You heard
Yeah,
that
well,
in there.
this one right here in San Francisco is not.
It's
Should
unarmed robot?
should robots working alongside law enforcement be used to deploy deadly force? The San Francisco Board of Supervisors is weighing that question this week as they consider a policy proposal that will allow the San Francisco Police Department to use robots as a deadly force against a suspect.
Okay, so I can see where they might decide if it's a hostage situation or if it's something where you've got people, criminals trapped inside the building and they're heavily armed, or if they are in the hallways of like a dormitory or maybe in a school, you might want to deploy something in there that doesn't put humans at risk. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what the circumstances would be and who would decide that. But to me,
yeah. So there's there are some people who think it's a good thing, and it says there's a new California law becoming effective this year that requires every municipality in the state to list and define the authorized uses of all military grade equipment in their local law enforcement agencies. And San Francisco wants to, wants it to be a part of that. Oakland said no.
And I tell you what, when you say military grade equipment, it throws me back to probably a time that you guys may not have even been born, but it throws me back to the 60s when I came home from college and there were tanks on the corner. To me, that's military grade equipment and armed military troops in my neighborhood. I mean, what's that about? It's like you go to the mall now and you would walk up and there'd be tanks and stuff sitting in the I don't know.
Right. But they want, but again, who's programming the robots? How does the robot know that this person is a threat and this one is not? It's still the same thing the police deal with because they can't get that right as a human. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And they
So
have a lot more clues. Yeah. They have a lot more clues as to, I don't know.
Now, the one that's rolling around in Huntington Park, okay, that one is not a threat.
No, it's just reporting. It's just observing and
then how fast? So how fast do the police get there if somebody pushes a button? You understand what I mean? How? Anywho, they still got to work all these little details out.
And then Mark says they should arm that robot with nitrous oxide. The world would be a happier place.
Yeah, that would work. You know what? It looks like, ooh, change their mood. Wow.
Wow. Well, I have one more story, and then we'll go to Dr. Tachi. And that is, I wanted to share this story because we have a marked increase in the number of unsheltered people in Sacramento, which is where we're located. And in other places around the country and around the world. So I found this article, and let me see if I can share this with you about these new homes that are coming up. So let's see. Let's see if I can get this on full screen.
Sling TV is a better way to stream live TV. All the entertainment for a price you'll love. Why pay more?
Let's skip the ad and let me.
Wala and her family live in a refugee camp in
so we can
Syria.
hear it.
Recently, they moved into a brand new shelter that's based on a classic Swedish idea: flat pack furniture. Better Shelter want to improve housing for refugees. Here, they're testing out one of their flat pack shelters. But how easy are they to assemble? This small team took 5 hours to put one up.
It is easy. It's like IKEA furniture usually is, It comes with like, if arguments, we should do it this way or that way, and you have to push and squeeze some parts. Well, so it's not that everything just pops onto the frame. You can compare it to a wardrobe or something in complexity.
The shelter has a number of innovations for comfort and safety.
Solar panels, small window for ventilation, door lock for security.
Wala and her family fled their home because of the war in Syria. They'd lived in tents before moving into a flat pack shelter last year.
طبعا الكرفان يعادل للشمس للمطر.
The shelter protects the rain. This is where we sit. It is like our living room. But my children also sleep.
لقيتها هي متوسطة يعني باردة بالصيف وباردة بالشتاء.
It was cool in the summer and cool in the winter.
المشكلة إنه الفرق كتير كبير. القماش لا برد عليك مي لا برد عليك شمس يعني ممكن حرارة الشمس مثلا تسحب القماش فتحة هالقد لأنه هي كلها
Globally, 100 million people have now become displaced, and many of them will end up staying in camps for some time.
They come to camps, they marry in camps, they get children in camps. So then it was like, why are we then still putting people in tents when we need something which is more like durable, more safe, more dignified for families to live?
Over 70,000 Better Shelter homes are in use across the world. They're designed to last for 5 years and need to adapt to different cultures and different climates. But each shelter costs $1,500, over 3 times more than a tent. With numbers of refugees predicted to double by 2050, the need for housing solutions is only going to increase.
One of the main reasons I wanted to show this was because the cost of the tent, of the house, was only $1,500. And I think we were about to build a couple of hundred units and it was going to cost $umpteen million. And I'm like, what the heck? Okay. And I know that this is temporary shelter. It doesn't appear to have plumbing or electricity, but it beats a tent. And some of the lean-tos that we're seeing around our city, and people are actually digging burrows under freeways and in the levees, which can cause potential disaster.
Correct. Mark has a comment. He said, did they say easy like IKEA furniture?
Yes, they did.
Because IKEA furniture is not easy.
Well, then we'll call somebody from TaskRabbit and have them throw it together, because it's got to be cheaper than a couple of $1 million.
Right.
And
now
it's good for 5 years. And
right.
It's temporary housing.
Right. Now the situation that I see, the dynamics are, where are they going to put them? Because right now the people that are displaced, unsheltered, they just go anywhere they want and set up camp. Do you understand? So there's got to be some rules as to where you can set this up, or if the city sets it up. Because see, the city set up some stuff and designated this a place for where you can park your RV or where you can put up a tent. And they're like, well, we don't want to live there. We want to live wherever we want. And I'm like, look.
They want to bivouac all over the city.
And so there's a lot that goes on, because the housing would be great, but you still have to deal with the mentality of the people who are going to get in the housing. The refugees, they were grateful for a place to stay and were
and something a little sturdier than these tents, because evidently where they are, the heat is so great that it burns holes in fabric.
Right. So it's just interesting, because we now have to work with the people who will be staying in them. Will they accept the help? Because I do remember when the city wanted to, they're voting in city council on how much money that they're going to donate toward this cause. And the people that they were doing this for in there causing a ruckus in City Hall. I'm like, they're trying to give you money for, so I wasn't understanding all of the dynamics of the thought processes.
Yes, and recently they formed a coalition of departments because they realized that a number of these situations are the result of mental health issues. So people choose not to be sheltered appropriately. What we deem appropriate.
Right, and we're having that same issue here too. They're doing some things in New York City that are controversial about the homeless and the mental health, people who have mental health issues. They're trying to do things, but it's not working.
Because there are at least three different types of people who are unsheltered. Those who are mentally ill, those who came on hard times and they don't have a place to stay because of rent, and then those who are in the drug community. So there's three different types of people that you're dealing with, and they're all lumping everybody under homelessness. And that's you gotta separate them out and figure out how you're gonna help them. Not try and just, I'm gonna build something and they're gonna come. No, they're not.
But they did say that the population of people who need to be sheltered is now at 100 million and is due to double. So that's around the world. I'm not just talking about, domestically, but around the world. And I can see where that would be so, especially with what's going on in the last 3 years with the economy. I can see how it would have an impact, and people would be looking to go to places that have more opportunity. So I wanted to share that there is a flat pack house. You put one up in the yard and let the kids play.
Right. And there were some people who were living in tiny homes in the LA area, and the city put them out. And I'm like, what the? I don't know if they were not following the rules or whatever, but I'm like, okay, they're living in a tiny home, the little small.
Yes, I love those tiny homes. I watch that show all the time.
Right. So, they put up tiny homes for people. And I guess, I don't know what the situation was, but some people were asked to leave their tiny homes and now they're back on the street. And I was like, okay, so there's something else going on. There's other things going on. There's political stuff. There's always greed involved.
True.
Well, when it comes to those types of things, if you don't have, sorry to say that municipalities make money off of misery. And so if you have people who now have the problem solved by tiny homes, affordable homes, etc., then that means there is no money to be given in building all these things for shelters, etc. So it's a big racket, and it's terrible that people thrive off of misery. It's the same thing when you look at this whole prison industrial complex. Somebody is profiting, And so the more that you try to solve the problem, the more others ensure that it can't be solved.
Correct. And then Shanu says, and there are the other people who just want to be off the grid. So there's at least four different types of individuals who are.
BizChick, there are people that have a gypsy mindset, and they don't want you to house them. It's like we keep trying to help people that don't want to be helped. Get the people off the street that want to be off the street.
Yes.
Okay. And stop wasting your time trying to house everybody, because like I follow some of these homeless people on social media, and it's like most of them are happy. They good. They good. That's how they want to live.
Right.
And they did it by choice. See, we're forgetting that some of these people are homeless by choice. They're not homeless because they lost their job or anything like. They're homeless because that's what they want to be. And we have to stop trying to make people fit into this cookie cutter mentality of society. If they don't want to be helped, then they don't want to be helped. Plain and simple.
Correct.
And it's like, I follow a couple of them, and it's surprising because they're women, but they're on social media. They get paid off of doing their little YouTube channels and all that, and they live in their car, and they just happy because they don't have to be beknownst to anybody. They can get in their car and go anywhere that they want to go, and they are happy doing that.
Yeah.
They can find day work. They can find any kind of way to, and most of them do find work that they can support themselves. All of them are not out there panhandling. And those that are out there panhandling is because that's what they have chosen to do instead of go get a job. They found that the panhandling is more profitable for them. So it's like, I was homeless for like a year and a half when I was in college. And so it's like, it's a choice. You make a choice to stay out there. Because if you've been out there more than 1 year, you have decided that's what you want to do. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and a lot of that is definitely very valid. I would say, though, that what I don't want is for that to overshadow people who can make a choice. Because if you have a car, if you have certain amenities, and you can actually make that choice, then yes, it is a choice. But there are some people who are dealing with mental illnesses, as you know, et cetera, that's not necessarily a choice for them. But somebody who, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck anyway, where it's like one paycheck too short and then they're homeless. So I don't want the conversation or the narrative to be that, people that are, and I know that's not what you're saying, but some people will take that inch and turn it into a mile. Well, it's a choice, when for an overwhelming majority, I would say it's not. I think it's a segment that had a choice. And again, like you, when you were homeless, you were in college. You were also in college. That is also a resource that many homeless people don't have. So I think it then comes to the actual definition of what we consider homelessness. Does it come with a set of conditions where you're not able to get out of that and it's temporary? Or is it something that just defines someone who doesn't have a home? Because if that's the case, then yes, then everybody under that umbrella is homeless. But I think there are, as we've been saying, there are categories to that. And what happens is, it's just like when somebody sees the Black people that succeed, and like, well, see, they went to college and that did that, not knowing that systemic things hold back some other people from doing it. So I think we just have to be careful of using the examples of the people who want to do it to also cover the people who have no choice. And I know that's not what you're saying, Shannon, but I just wanted to put that out there.
No, and there is a segment called the working homeless. I did a paper on it when I was in college because I was homeless at the time, and I started being an observer of who was out there. I started being an observer, and there is a class called the working homeless. These are the people that they cannot qualify to get an apartment because they have bad credit or whatever the reason was. So they live in these weekly motels. They live in those weekly motels. And that's how they survive, because you don't have to do a credit check to live in a weekly motel. You just have to pay the stuff every week. And that's how they were living. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that because I was working. I didn't panhandle. I was working. And so it's like you do have that category. However, what we are forgetting, even with the ones that have the mental illness, they have learned to work the system. They have learned to get the general relief. They have learned to get the food stamps. They have learned to do all of that goes with that. So, I'm not as lenient on that as giving them a pass, because I feel like if you really want to get off of the streets, you find a way to get yourself off of the street. Plain and simple. And that may sound a little bit harsh, but I think we have to stop giving people this idea that they cannot do better for themselves. You can do better if you choose to do better. You don't have to stay in that position. And that's just my feeling about that. So I mean, it's like, yeah, we do have different categories of homelessness. There's the working class. There's people that they cannot get an apartment because their credit is messed up. They cannot pass those kind of things. So they stay in the hotels that will let you pay weekly. They stay there. That's their, but homelessness is considered, and I know when I was doing my research paper, if you don't have an address, then you're homeless.
Yep.
That's plain and simple. If you don't have an address of your own, you are homeless. And if people are living paycheck to paycheck, some of that responsibility is on you. Your finances are messed up. You have to strengthen the weakest part of your life. Whatever that link is, that's the weakest part of your life, your finances, then you need to strengthen that so that you can take care of yourself.
You're right. But if it were so easy, then people would do it. So
I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. It takes work. And that's the problem. People don't want to put in the work sometimes.
That's right.
They don't want to put in the work. We live in a microwave society, and people want things handed to them. They want it to be easy. It's not easy. I was going to college, but I ended up homeless behind a breakup in a relationship. That's how I ended up homeless. But that was my fault because my finances were screwed up. So it's like you have to take responsibility for your life. We have to stop letting people not take responsibility for their life. We can blame it on everything that we want to blame it on. But the end result is you are the main character in your life. You are not a supporting actress.
Absolutely. And I agree. I mean, I agree. And I also add to disadvantages on the same. And if we just put it on the individual when we are a society, and and again, maybe it's because I come from a collective society and a collective community where, okay, that's what you do. American society is not like that. So again, I probably have a very different view because I'm African, and African societies are very collective. So are a lot of communities in this country. But as a whole, America is very individualistic, and it makes sense. And I do see where that the individualism is helpful. And yes, you are supposed to do all of that. But again, because of the upbringing and everything, I also sympathize and see where the problem is. Nothing is ever that simple. In communication, we always say you don't know where the communication started or where it stopped. So if somebody comes up to you and they seem to have an attitude, we don't know why or where that happened. So if somebody happens to be in bad arrears, we don't know why or how that happened. So I think it's that, yes, you are responsible at the end of the day because nobody here is going to coddle you. But I also understand why and know that that is just what we're seeing is a symptom of a larger problem. So that's all.
Good conversation. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, and the reason for sharing the article was to let you know that people are working on making housing more affordable all over the globe, and that this is another simple solution. So I just wanted to share that there are flat pack houses that are now available in countries around the world.
Yep. All right.
All righty.
And Dr. Tachi is up next, and we're going to finding out what is happening in media.
Hey there, that was a good conversation. Very interesting.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's good to see what people think behind all of these things. So that was excellent. So before I get into the media part, there's something that came across my email today. Since you were talking about Atari, this is very interesting. Now, as you know, this is Miami Art Week and also Art Basel. So all things art are coming across my desk. But in terms of digital art, there is a drop, an NFT drop that is happening. Chantel Martin is a luminary in the NFT space, and she has a big resume, quite a resume, because she created the first NFT purchased by the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. So now she's teaming up with Polycade to run down this new concept, Artists and Atari series. And I thought about this as soon as you said this. So it's going to be Asteroids times Chantel Martin, and it's the Asteroids game that we love with artwork reimagined by Chantel. And it's going to be released as a limited edition NFT. So they're going to be rare digital cartridges that will live on as collector's items, but they'll also grant owners some. So for example, you can play on web browser and any Polycade gaming system in the world, access to member-only tournaments and events. Achievements / high scores are going to be tied to the NFT, not the owner, meaning some will be worth more than others. And Polycade is releasing a picture frame looking arcade machine to help showcase the collectible video games. So you can actually, the pre-sale starts today. And if you go to, I got this from Future Party. So it's one of the newsletters I subscribe to. So if you go to news.futureparty.com, you can sign up for the pre-sale. They're only doing 5,000 registrants, and you'll have a chance to buy one of 1,000 NFTs. So wanted to put that out there since we were talking about Atari earlier.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And now on to the media news. For those of you that are Orange is the New Black, was anybody an Orange is the New Black person?
I was not.
Okay, or Lost?
I watched it, but I didn't finish it.
Okay, and I watched Lost and didn't finish it.
Okay, well, so unfortunately, we have a Brad Williams. He was you may know him. He was in Lost. He was in Orange is the New Black. He was a former NFL player, and he passed away at the age of 56. I have to get more information on how that just popped up. And I was like, I didn't really watch Lost, but I did watch Orange is the New Black. I got into it later because at first I was like, I don't want to watch a show about people in prison, but it was actually well.
No, it was good. It was good. I didn't finish it, but it was good.
Yeah. He ended up coming on later in, I don't remember which season, but later seasons he played, like once everything got into disarray in the prison, he was one of the head warden, whatever he was. So, and he ended up, getting killed on the series as well during the riot. But he unfortunately passed away. He was only 56. I don't know the conditions, but I wanted to put that out there for people who may have been fans. May he rest well. So let's talk a little bit about Netflix. You know, Netflix has a preview club. They do. And they are expanding their preview club to let more people view upcoming shows and movies early. So they're inviting tens of thousands of subscribers worldwide to preview upcoming shows and films on the platform. So this is a drastic increase from the 2,000 plus subscribers who previously had VIP preview access. And if you know me, and knowing we have a podcast, TV channeling about TV, and we do TV reviews. We have been clamoring for Netflix access forever. Maybe now they'll say, okay, Kevin and Tachi, come on in. So, again, it's called the Netflix Preview Club. It was first announced last year, and it follows the same tradition that blockbuster movies since the silent film era, inviting subscribers to play a pivotal role in the platform's content. And through the program, you're invited to share what you liked, what you didn't like, and it gives you the opportunity to play a role in what people will see on Netflix. So they first reached out to some subscribers in May of last year in a trial run of this, and now they're opening it up a little more widely. So over the coming months, you may be contacted if you have Netflix to be part of the Netflix Preview Club. Netflix, I hope it's me. So, any questions? Was somebody going to say something?
No, I didn't get anything in the mail, so.
No, and I unsubscribed, so I have no comment.
Okay, so definitely not Terry. So, here's another thing. CNN, in addition to all the other things they have going on, is accused of using hundreds of songs without permission in a new lawsuit. So Free Play Music is an online music production music library, and they're seeking $17 million from the cable news giant. They're being accused of using hundreds of songs in international broadcast segments without acquiring a license or paying the proper fees. How nice. So, I brought this up to say that, I still run into so many people that will use music in their videos online, on social media, and still put the stupid, I do not own the rights to this music. We know you don't. And by putting that, you're admitting you're using this without permission. And so the point is that you need to get proper permission. If CNN, a whole news outlet, can have a lawsuit brought against them for this type of thing, and for doing this internationally, then why would you think small you is immune? Not that you're small, but you're not a major news outlet. So this is a lesson, and there are so many royalty-free places where you can get music. We can run them down forever, but I actually have a video, one of the Be More Ers I did, where I tell you where you could get some royalty-free music. YouTube has some music that you can use royalty-free. Whenever you're posting a reel or a TikTok, there are songs that you're going to be able to use. And this is because somebody has paid the licensing fees for those. But I'm always a proponent of, if you can use something that you purchased that you have a license for that is royalty-free, rather than a popular song, because if something goes down and then that your video, they take the sound out, they take all the sound out, even you talking. So, you have been forewarned. So that is the thing with what's going on at CNN. And if there are no other things, let's talk about this. Before you open your next Comcast TV or internet bill, guess what? Rates are going up again. So I'm sorry to say that. They didn't provide specific numbers for the fee hikes, but according to journalist Philip Swan, who covers the video business, he reported figures for some markets last week. And so in one market, he said the fee is up $7.37 for one market, some $7 a month. For example, the city of Taunton, Massachusetts, Comcast said that the broadcast TV fee would rise from $18.65 a month to $26 a month, and it's effective December 20th of this year. So they say that is the cost. That's part of the cost of providing local stations in your market. So because you can't just put whatever you want on your cable system. You have to have, there is the retrans or retransmission agreement that you have to go to, and the local affiliates and local stations have to say okay. So if you notice, for example, like when you're on Sling or any of these over the top, that you may not get many of your local stations. I only get one, which is our local NBC affiliate. That's because they have not come to agreements with the other ones, if they will at all. So yeah, if you are Comcast, know that your cable and internet bill is going to go up. And right now we just have, some markets. We don't have a statement from Comcast, but look for that soon. What fun.
Ooh, because they...
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think Terry said that they were doing tiers now on the internet, and I'm like, didn't we have something about net neutrality before that we were talking about? Okay,
that's a couple years ago.
But they want to roll all that back with the last regime, and I did say regime. They back a lot of those net neutrality rules that because net neutrality is not beneficial for the internet companies. And for those who don't quite know, net neutrality would prevent basically toll roads, internet toll roads, so that those who could afford to pay for higher fees to access something, and others would just be out of luck and they could throttle your speeds, etc. So that's the whole concept of net neutrality. But as you can see, that's not bottom line, well, I shouldn't say bottom line, but profit effective for many companies. So there were many companies that were against that.
Yeah. And so they're trying to slide that in there on the slide. So check your internet bill, and you might want to make some changes, because there's some people. I'm testing out something from T-Mobile. It's 5G internet, and I'm gonna see how this works because it's $50 a month. Unlimited. Unlimited. I was like, okay, let's see. It wasn't in my area. Say again.
I'm sorry. Do you know what the speeds are?
I can tell you that later on. I'll do a speed test, but they said that it's 5G and it's unlimited. I just don't know if it's faster than Xfinity is. What are they using? They're using they use their cabling underground. They're not using like AT&T can use dial-up or fiber or whatever. So I got to check into it, and I will report back and find out what the speed is.
Oh yeah, I would love to know. Fantastic. Well, you know what? Let's get a little update on Al Roker. If you watched the Today Show, you noticed that you probably noticed he hasn't been on in a while, and he's under very good care. This is because he's been in the hospital. So he's been hospitalized twice because of blood clots in his lungs and his legs, and the second time came just a day after he was originally discharged. Of course. It was, Hoda Kotb said it was wonderful hosting the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but of course we all wish he could have been with us. And that is his thing. And so you probably noticed a hole because Al Roker wasn't there. And he's usually man on the street with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Yeah, but he wasn't there. But he's under good care, according to Deadline Hollywood. And they say that Al and his family want everyone to know how grateful they are for all the love, the support, and the well wishes, and that he's giving a big thumbs up. So hopefully he will recover soon. Go ahead.
No,
he said good.
We wish him well.
Absolutely, we do wish him well. He's a big part of morning television, and we want him to recover quickly. So let me talk about YouTube and TikTok, two media platforms / tech platforms that could be targeted under a new media code. So the federal government in Australia is considering whether it should use landmark media bargaining laws to force platforms like YouTube and TikTok to negotiate with news outlets. in a review of their regulatory code that has generated millions of dollars in funds for the local media industry. So this was a 9-month review released in Australia on Thursday, and their Treasury Department said that the News Media Bargaining Code had been a success to date, and it allowed media companies to strike agreements with tech giants Google and Facebook owner Meta for use of their content. But the review has kicked down any hopes of changes to the framework down the road, proposing 3 further reviews and avoiding commentary on Meta's resistance to strike Australia. So the basic thing is, they want deals for them to be able to use the news media in Australia, their coverage there. So we'll see whether or not deals are. And it's interesting to watch. This is from the Sydney Morning Herald. It's interesting to watch what happens internationally, because it could have an effect on what happens here. If we watch what international courts are doing, I'm quite sure our government will take a look and say, okay, well, how can we better effectively do things as well? So that is what is happening there. Why don't we get down the road? I'm sorry, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I said, wow. I'm stunned by that. And if it's got anything to do with making revenue for the government, I'm sure we will follow suit.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, watch what happens when it comes to these types of companies and other governments. Know that some changes, or at least some consideration, will be taken here as well. I can only imagine. So how about we ease on down the road to Broadway? Because The Wiz is going to be reimagined for a limited Broadway revival that's coming in spring of 2024. And this will be a follow-up for Amber Ruffin. And if you know Amber Ruffin, she has a show on Peacock. She is a comedian. She does political commentary, and she is hilarious. And she is involved in this. She also co-wrote Some Like It Hot, which is debuting on this fall on the what is not Hollywood, Broadway called? Is it called the Silver Way? The White? What is it called? I forgot.
The Great White Way. Oh,
the Great White Way, which makes no sense. It's, as you know, The Wiz is like one of my favorite musicals of all time. And it is slated to return, as I said, spring 2024. They just announced this yesterday. And it is an all-new production of this Tony Award-winning musical. Williams said that it wouldn't be Broadway if it wasn't for The Wiz, the music, the costumes, the choreography, and Stephanie Mills, right? So, it's absolutely amazing. This is one of my favorites. So you can look for that coming in 2024 for a limited run. So TJ, maybe you can go and let us know what it's like.
Oh yeah, I'll see if I can put it on my calendar.
I'll let you know when we get a more solid date. Just a couple of more things. So Emancipation, as you know, the movie with Will Smith, producer, is being criticized, according to the Hollywood Reporter, because he walked down the red carpet with a photograph that inspired the film. So apparently, Joey McFarland, who is the producer, has been collecting images of 19th century African Americans, including the 1863 photograph, The Scourged Back. Now, I'm sure you've seen it. It is a photo of an enslaved African whose back was scourged because of what we've seen that in books and magazines all over the place. But at the Emancipation premiere on Wednesday, McFarland apparently turned heads because he walked down the carpet with the original photograph that inspired the film, the one showing the scarred back of a man known as Peter, who escaped enslavement. So on the carpet, that's where McFarland told reporters that he curates and owns a collection of photos of African Americans from the 19th century, citing his love of history. And he says, quote, they've been so poorly curated, preserved, and protected. And so for the last couple of decades, I have been seeking out and acquiring as many forgotten and lost photographs as possible. And during the interview, he showed off the photo, and in a video circulating online, he said he also bought it so a piece of Peter would be with him at the premiere. But of course, you know, the Twitter streets and social media likes to have things. So critics were quick to question why these Civil War era artifacts were in his personal collection rather than a museum. Franklin Leonard, the founder of the Blacklist, shared a lengthy thread seemingly questioning the decision and wondering if McFarland, who said he would donate his collection upon his death, was taking it up in order to raise the value of his collection. He said, why do you own the photograph? Why did you bring it to a movie premiere if the intent is to preserve it respectfully? You wanted, quote, a piece of Peter here? You collect slave memorabilia that will be donated upon your death? What do you do with it in the meantime? So many questions, and this is what he took. So there were so many people who had problem with him bringing it there. And
can I mention something? Are you finished with this piece?
Go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts.
Because when you were saying it, because I didn't know, I know about the film, but I didn't know about the guy with the photo and carrying it at the premiere. And I'm like, would they carry a picture of Hitler or anything to do with that, with the Holocaust, where there's horrors and stuff? Would they do that for that situation? I don't think so. So why would you do it for this? Why was it necessary? I don't see why it was necessary to carry the photograph around. Sure, own it. I have no problem with that, but you carrying it around like a not a trophy, but see what we did. It sometimes you get tired of it. Like, why are you doing it? That's my thought.
Yeah, well, okay, let me tell you what he said. So he first of all, he sees himself as a filmmaker, writer, amateur historian, and passionate curator of the truth. And he said that he sees the subject of the image as a hero and warrior, not a victim. He said, quote, "We don't need to ignore or hide or cover up the past. We need to protect it. We need to protect those scars, those wounds. We need to have them on full display so we don't make the same mistakes again. We need to curate the stories, the photographs, the history before it's lost forever. That's part of my mission." So that does not answer why he brought it to a premiere.
Right. I understand him wanting to educate, but there's a different way. So like you said, have a exhibit at a museum and have all children come and learn. I think that's a better way to do it. Or have a traveling exhibit and teach people who don't know. Not to go, it's to me it was like carrying a dead body down the red carpet. That's how I feel about it, but I don't know.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
My question is, would it have been different if he was Black? Would there have been a different response? Huh?
If the producers were Black?
Would there be a different response?
Probably. I'm not going to lie. Probably so. But I think there was some of the same criticism would be there.
Right.
This is a historical artifact that is to be protected. It's not something. It's not like a wallet-sized photo of your child. If you wanted to do that and carry it, why not make a reproduction of that and have it and then show it on the red carpet like this is what inspired the movie, and talk about we have to make sure that these types of things don't happen again. I know it's raw, but X, Y, Z. That I probably would not have had a problem with. I'm sure some people would have. But I think my biggest thing lies in that you took the original photograph there like it was a wallet size of your child, and that's not what it is. Second of all, I kind of do agree with the thing of why do you own something like that? Not that you can't have those photographs, but it does more good when masses are be able to see it. As Terry said, he doesn't even have to be the one to curate it. There is a wonderful Museum of African American History in DC that you can you donate money there, have an entire wing or an entire room that you donated money to with all of your artifacts to tell the truth. To me, that's a bigger flex and a better flex than taking your sorry self down the red carpet with a photograph that shouldn't be out in the air anyway.
Exactly. It's very look at me, look what I did. Like white savior kind of thinking. Like, no, you can own the photograph, but put it in the museum. Have it, some kind of traveling exhibit where it goes to the school, not school, some place where there's a learning aspect of it. This was very much look at me and I bought this and look what I did. And I'm like, no, that's not what you do with the photograph. Not to say to hide it. I'm just saying that's very, I'm trying to think of the word. It's very
braggadocious.
Yes. Flex. And then Dr. Tati said flex. It's like a flex. Like, look what I did. Like, no.
Exactly. So that's one of what I have for you today, unless anybody has anything that they wanted to add to that. But I thought the story was interesting. And it's not just about him per se. This is about anybody who does anything remotely similar to that, whether or not you're non-melanated or you are melanated. The appropriateness and whether or not that is helpful for whatever movement you're trying to help. Okay, that's not. That is it. That is my media contribution for today.
Thank you, Dr. Tati.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it goes back to motive. Okay.
Well, I have a question about the emancipation. Is anybody going to see it or not see it, or just opinions?
I really have a problem with movies about slavery. And it's probably because my great grandparents were born into slavery and I knew them. I mean, they were alive when I was little. And so it's not far enough removed for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's too raw for me. And
right. I mean, it looks like a great movie. I love the subject matter and everything. I don't have a problem with Will Smith. It's just that, like Terralina says, it's like sometimes you just don't want to watch, even though it's great
painful.
Filmmaking or whatever, or great performance, or and hearing about the guy with the photograph strolling down the red carpet just turned me right now. I didn't know about that. So there can be an element of what is it called? It's they have a word for it where it's the voyeurism of looking at that, that time period and feasting off of it, kind of, for some cultures. For us, I feel like Terralina says, we are, I have relatives, my great grandfather, grandmother, you think about that and you go, I don't want to see that. But power to those who want to see it. I have no problem with that. So
to add, whoever wants to see it, that's fine. I'm not interested right now in stories about. I want more stories about Black joy. Okay?
Yes.
Well, there we go.
And see,
yes.
Movies and watch shows. I understand the critical nature, excuse me, of why we need the other types of stories. We do.
We need them.
I think we have an abundance of those types of stories, which means that our stories are only ever rooted in pain and struggle, and that is so far from the fact.
Right. And I'm not saying not to make them because it's for other cultures, but for me, I'm like, okay, I didn't watch 12 Years a Slave. I wanted to, but I still haven't watched it. Great acting, Lupita, and that, but I'm just like, I have not watched it. There might be a day when I want to, but it hasn't happened yet. So, but that's just, some people. But I'm just saying they should make those movies, but for those who do, well, I didn't know this, or I need to be educated or whatever, and not for just entertainment of, so that's that. And that was it. I just wanted to know if anybody was going to see it, because isn't it coming out in theaters and then it's going to Disney, right? Disney Plus.
Correct.
Okay. So I have Disney Plus. I might watch it next year or the year after. I don't know. I might not watch it.
Take your time. I what we don't, and this is just really quickly. I think this is another thing. There is the paradox between wanting to support movies that have
yes, black directors and actors and
actors that are produced by people of African descent. There's that paradox of wanting to support versus how many times do I have to be traumatized?
Right.
So it's okay not to watch things if it's going to mean that your year is not going to be fruitful. I need you to have more of a fruitful and productive year than I need you to see that film.
Right. So, I think that you put it perfectly, that I want to support them because that's very important. But then it's the subject matter of, okay, you know, it's a fine line that we ride. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Okay. I love the thing about Black Joy. Just about the Black Joy, I was thinking because there's a Patti LaBelle has a Christmas. I love the Black Christmas, and I call it Black Christmas movies on Lifetime, and it's all black cast mostly, and they're great. Patti LaBelle has a new one coming out, I think Saturday. So, just thinking about Black Joy. So,
yeah,
there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you asked the question, PJ, because I was
okay.
You know,
no,
I
these
didn't go
things,
see.
These things are important because there are people that feel that way, and like I said, there's some movies I've watched and some I haven't, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but it's okay to make them. I'm not saying not make it. It's okay because there are other cultures that need that kind of view or entertainment or learning or exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there. All right. So are we ready? Social media news?
Yes.
I think so.
Some heavy stuff today. So we gotta have some fun with Mr. Musk. I'm gonna leave him for last. Okay, so this week is social media news. Where do I want to start? There's so many new things here. Let me see. Oh, I'll save that one. Let's talk about something fun. So, does everybody know about Spotify Wrapped? That came out this week. Okay, so you don't know. So Spotify users, all year you listen to your music and you're having fun. This time in December, Spotify put something called Spotify Wrapped. It shows users what they've listened to over the year. And it's this big thing where people get excited, and because it's shareable. So they share it to Instagram, they share it to Twitter, they share it everywhere. And it gets to show, it shows others what what type of music you like, what's your favorite artist, your top 5 songs that you listen to, and things like that. So that came out. So it shows a user's top artist and song of the year, the number of genres they listen to, and the total minutes they spent on the platform for the year. So I think I put mine on Instagram as a story. It's probably gone, but I might reshare it somewhere else. So it's just really interesting. I was like, oh, did I listen to this and that? So Spotify Wrapped came out this week. Is it's a big thing with Gen Z millennial. They love to look at that and share it. Also, this year Apple Music has something called Replay, and I think they had it before, but they're trying to copy the excitement of the Spotify Wrap, but it's not quite the same because they made it hard. It's clunky to find. It's not easy to share, and you also have to be using Apple Music, which is there's more. I think there's more Spotify users than Apple Music users, and also YouTube Music had one too. But the one that's easiest and fun to share and everybody knows about and it was all over the news this week was Spotify Wrapped. So if you use Spotify, it's there. Just a little fun, into the year joy. Does anybody anybody have their Spotify Wrapped besides me, or Apple Music Replay? Did anybody see the Apple Music Replay?
No.
No. For Apple Music, the replay, you go to the app and this is another thing. They made it so hard to find. You have to scroll all the way down to something called Just Launch. And then it opens a web page. And you get to see like the top 5 artists and songs and things like that. So it's just an end of the year wrap up. YouTube does one for YouTube videos, you know, the highlights of the year. So that kind of thing is happening this year.
Chanu said she received her wrap.
Okay.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I received my Spotify wrap, and I already shared it. I shared it out on my Twitter.
Oh.
And I think my LinkedIn too. So I was very pleased with it. I was very surprised at how many countries that my podcast actually goes into, because I did not have any idea that it was going into places like Indonesia and places like that. But I was very happy with the wrap.
Good. Yeah, I forgot they had the podcast side of it too. The one I was mentioning was the music. But that's good to hear.
Okay, because I think Anchor does that too. At the end of the year, it tells you what your podcast was doing.
And who was that just made the comment? Because I wanted to give them some.
Anchor is Spotify.
Right. So, yeah.
So Anchor doesn't send it. Spotify sends it now.
Okay.
Right. But I was just, because you were saying about podcast and ranking and your podcast ranking. If you go to chartable.com and sign up, it's free. It'll give you that information that you can go in and look at all the time about how your podcast is doing. If anybody that owns a podcast, it's Chartable, chartable.com. Okay. Just passing that on. All right. So let's move on to Discord. Discord has gotten into paid subscriptions. So they have they have a section called Nitro where you can have your users sign up, but they're doing premium membership, you know, like not Spotify, Snapchat Plus, Twitter Blue Plus, all of these plus, and you paid $2.99 or whatever. So they're saying Discord will allow more server owners to offer paid memberships in exchange for special server specific perks. And also Discord communities and servers were already using third party services like Patreon, but this is more within the app, you know, so they're not going outside of that, which I said, you know, the app wants to keep people on the farm or with the app, so they don't like people going to third party services. So anyone who runs a server can create a customized membership tiers that offer special roles and other benefits like early access to merch drops or exclusive content. So Discord calls this feature server subscriptions. And to be eligible, server owners must be located in the U.S. and be in good standing on the platform with no recent violations of its platform policies and community guidelines. You can set subscriptions to be anywhere from $2.99 to $199 and decide what kind of perks to associate with the tiers that you decide to offer. Discord will get 10% of the subscription revenue. Okay, so that's for the Discord people. And I'll say that. Okay, Pinterest. Pinterest ends its creator reward program for idea pins, IDEA idea pins. So they started this creator rewards program in October 20th of last year, and it was for a way for creators to make money by creating theme idea pins. And it was based on monthly prompts provided by Pinterest. They said that they are getting rid of this program, but they're not getting rid of the creator fund. They have a 500K creator fund. So that program is designed to encourage creators to keep posting their apps. So they're looking at marginalized groups of trying to elevate them. So that part is staying. It's just the creator fund that they are the creator rewards program is what they're getting rid of. So a lot of these apps are getting rid of or reduced. Remember, Snapchat had that $1 million a day thing, I think it was, and then they reduced it, and then they reduced it some more, and they reduced it some more because they found out, wait a minute, this is too costly. So Pinterest is joining that group. So but it's not the creator fund, because that is supports creators and communities that are underrepresented. They're not specifying the communities, but you can probably assume which ones or not. So that's what's going on with Pinterest. Now, speaking of Snapchat, Snapchat has launched a voice-powered AR experience with the company New Balance. So they've incorporated something called Voice ML, which is audio prompts. So Snapchat users will be prompted to answer a series of questions in the app using their voice as opposed to typing, which will then help them discover the best product matches for their specific purpose. So this is a quote from Snap. Snap chatters will answer questions about the person they are shopping for using Voice ML. Snap chatters have the ability to use their own voice and answers to get matched with the perfect gift ideas for themselves, friends, and families. Once questions are answered, Snap chatters will have the ability to unveil a product recommendations with a unique unboxing experience. So they have a whole AR thing, and there's some screenshots which I didn't pull up, so but I'm looking at it on my notes. So they ask you questions like a chatbot, and you respond by voice instead of typing. And then I guess they ask you a series of questions to get you the best match. So this is right now they're doing it with New Balance, which is running shoes. So and we talked about Snapchat with Amazon and other things where they're doing this AR related shopping. They did the Halloween. Remember, they did the Halloween costumes you could try on in the app and then buy through the app. So a lot of that is happening with Snapchat.
Mm.
Also, Snapchat is changing the privacy policy features for one state. Guess what state it is?
California.
Yep. Because you have a new California Privacy Rights Act, which takes effect on January 1st, 2023. It applies to personal data collected on or after January 1st, 2022. So Snapchat users have the ability to opt out of the sharing and selling of their personal information through the app. Snapchat will no longer be able to collect or access personal data without the user knowing. So you'll be able to correct, transfer, or delete sensitive information. The new option will be on the California privacy choices in the app.
Okay, so before this, they could just get our information.
Yeah, because remember, Snapchat has the geolocation stuff. They have a map. They have this, and that's personal tracking. You can turn it off in the app, but then it might still be collecting data. So California says, "Hey, we're putting a stop to all of that."
But this is like McDonald's when, we have a better hamburger where it's all pure beef. So what were we eating before? So y'all was all up in the closets and doing everything else, and now you just can't come up in the house like you want to. Okay.
Right. So with the app Snapchat, the setting will appear for all users, but the feature will only work for those in California. So if you are in California, you will be able to do this, but everybody will see it within the app. But they, like I wouldn't be able to use it.
This is interesting.
Right. So unless other states follow suit, like New York might follow, usually New York and California follow each other and stuff. So if it comes here, then I'll have the option to, I don't want you to do this and that. So it'll be already in the app. So that's what's going on with Snapchat. Now, LinkedIn announces expanded rollout of new focused inbox format for InMail. Now, let's talk about this, because if you're not a LinkedIn user, you may not know. There's a lot of spam that comes in your inbox, and it's annoying, and you have to delete. So LinkedIn is rolling out a focus option for incoming messages with others relegated to an other box. So they're going to put that spam stuff in an other box, because LinkedIn knows that if you have a one-to-one connection with someone, they know that. So that goes straight to your focus inbox or your focus messages. So that one, the focus messages include the most relevant new opportunities and outreach. This is from LinkedIn. Others will have everything else. So that will be spam and people trying to sell you something. All of that is in LinkedIn. Go ahead.
So this is kind of like what Gmail did when they separate your stuff from important and
yeah, they have a promotion.
promotion.
Yeah, they have a promotion. They have a social, and they have the main
primary. Yes,
primary. Yes,
right.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. So you won't see that, because most people with their Gmail just go straight in and look at, the primary. And I don't pay attention to the other two. So if they're going over there,
like, I don't see it.
Right. So, but LinkedIn has, and that's one of the big complaints is like as soon as you connect with somebody, boom, here comes the email trying to sell you something or spam or all of that. So they know they have a problem with it. So they're trying to fix that. So they're saying, this is their quote. They said, Focus Inbox offers a dual tab experience that categorizes your incoming message into focused and other. Focused contains the most relevant new opportunities and outreach, while other contains the remainder of your conversations.
Mm.
So so also you'll have a spam reporting option. It'll be offered to you when you read or look at your mail. It will say report an inappropriate message. The automated tools will warn you when harassment is detected within private messaging. This is from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn says if you use the tool, it gets sent directly to spam, or if it's questionable, it stays in your inbox with a label you see before reading, and then you can decide what to do with it. Also, LinkedIn is adding live captioning on the video messaging feature for improved accessibility. So those are some of the things that LinkedIn is doing. And like I said, if you don't use LinkedIn, then you wouldn't understand what's going on with that mail, because every time I go over, there's some kind of spam or there's some kind of it gets tiring. And then when you see somebody you connect and they instantly send you a message about trying to sell you something, I'm like, don't do that. All right, so WhatsApp is adding a new option to send a message to yourself. Why would we want to do that? WhatsApp is rolling out a new option that enables you to send a message to yourself, and it could be good for keeping notes, sending links that you want to get back to, keeping track of appointments, etc. That's their reasoning for it. So you'll see yourself as a contact in your WhatsApp recipient list. And WhatsApp will highlight things like shopping list, travel inspiration, voice notes, etc. To send yourself a message in WhatsApp, you'll be able to choose your contact info from the top of your contact list. Tapping on that will open up a chat window where you can send yourself a quick note. Isn't that lovely?
So you're texting yourself
a reminder, a shopping list, or a note, a link.
Now, if you could say S or A, note to self, I would think it would work,
Mm-hmm.
And if A and S could do that, you know what I'm talking about, right? Or G,
right.
A or S, send a note to self. That would be genius, and we wouldn't have to use WhatsApp to do that.
Right, because if you have you have a shopping list, you give it a voice, and you look in the app and you can see your shopping list, or you could set a reminder, or if you have an iPhone or an Apple device, there's reminders. So I don't see what was so exciting about this, but WhatsApp seems to think that you guys would like it, because I don't use WhatsApp.
So the people who do use WhatsApp, instead of using the native reminders or whatever, they would just use the WhatsApp. Maybe it would work. I don't know.
Right. I guess, like I said, if you're a WhatsApp user, then this might be something you like. But I got, there's lots of things you can use to keep reminders. There's the calendar, there's Asana, there's Notion, there's the A, which I won't say because she'll wake up. The A gives you an app and you could do everything in an app. So I don't know. But then we have it. WhatsApp says you can send a message to yourself. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna save that for last. Oh, YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube. YouTube is testing a quiz feature for community posts. Now, remember, the community posts is the section of your channel where you have social media style posts. And I was saying that it looks like Instagram, it can be Twitter, you can do images, you can do polls. Now they're adding quizzes, so they're testing it out. Um, the quiz. So they're saying that YouTube says the quiz feature could be beneficial for creators, especially educational channels that want to help their followers learn. YouTube says the test is with a small number of creators right now. They're looking to gain feedback before further expanding access to this feature. Also, this TikTok has a Q&A feature, and I think Instagram has a quiz sticker. So here comes, YouTube is trying to add all these things because they see an opportunity, especially with what's happening with Twitter. And this is an opportunity to say, hey, you like this or that, because there is a polls. There's not a quiz feature on Twitter, but there's a polls feature. So they're saying, hey, come over here, and you're already making videos or you're already making shorts, and now you could do quick little community posts. And they're helpful, because when I see them, a person is announcing something. Oh, I'm going to do a live tomorrow, and then the link, you can tap the link, and then you can get reminded, and all kind of things that you can do in YouTube. So I see this is helpful. They're also YouTube is also experimenting with a photo editing tool that will come. Oh, how did they write this? A photo editing tool that will be on. They're testing on iOS devices after they've already tested it on Android. So the tool allows creators to add filters, text, and stickers to images they share on community posts. Okay, so all right, so I see they've already tested it on Android, so now they're saying they're going to now test it on iOS devices. So we're going to look for that photo editing tool with filters, text, and stickers. So again, here's more stuff YouTube is adding on to make that community section, the community post section, just like a feed.
Instagram, yeah,
just like an Instagram feed, like a Twitter feed, where it's interspersed with videos. So when you go in on you, and this works on YouTube mobile, when you go in, you'll see these things. It's kind of hard to see on the desktop. I'm going to test it out and see, because the community posts, really, you gotta really know where to find them on desktop, which it's kind of awkward. So good for you, YouTube. And let's see, before I get to Mr. Musk, let me make sure I covered all of the others. LinkedIn, Snapchat. Let me see. Pinterest. Oh, here's one I wanted to talk about before we get to Mr. Musk. Was there another one? I thought I had two things about Twitter. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I got two things about Twitter, but before we get there, there's a new app. Have you heard of it? It's called Lock It Widget. Lock It Widget.
Why?
Okay, let's talk about it. Now the app was developed by a young man. I had his name here, but what it was is that he wanted to send pictures to his girlfriend.
Oh my God!
And they didn't want to use social media because they wanted it to be private. I had the story up somewhere with the details, but it's for iOS only. It's an app that creates a mini screen in the corner of your iPhone. You can upload photos to a locket, which is then automatically shared and refreshed with the locket on the screens of your family and friends. So when you sign up, the app asks you to pick 10 best friends with a maximum of 20 people. You can also create separate lockets for a close friend or significant other. So this app came out New Year's Day this year. And I had a video. Let me see if I can bring it up. I closed it. Let me see, because they have a TikTok channel, of course. So they have a little so you can see how it works.
Okay. App overview and how to use. I have one. I don't understand, but okay.
Well, they have a TikTok channel where there's more. It's not what's in the app store. And
No, I'm looking at somebody else. Some people
Oh,
on
you're looking at.
YouTube. Some people on YouTube, and then KTLA 5 did it.
So, and I'm mentioning this because remember I said about things, conversations going underground and private within groups and not being public. So here you got another example of here it is going further. So let me make sure, and I can bring this up for you guys. So this start came out this year. Now where is? Oh, there it is. Share screen. So they got a little TikTok channel. I was like, okay, we can look at that. And how do I get this to be bigger? Can you guys see that? I'm trying to get it to be bigger.
We can put it on solo, but I don't know if it'll get any larger. Let's see.
We can, let me go ahead. Well, I might be able to make mine bigger individually. I can make.
Hold on, let me. Yeah, put it back on full screen, and then I'll make my screen bigger. Maybe that will work. Okay, where's the?
I can see this though, but I have my screen.
I can see it too.
I have mine on full screen, so I don't know what's coming up on video.
Right, I'm trying to zoom it. That's what I want. That's what I wanted to do. That. Because there's is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. So I'm gonna play it because then.
Locket is now ready to try with your friends. See pics from friends on your home screen. Locket is now ready to try with your friends.
That's going to repeat. So you see how it goes. Let me see if I can scan it. It goes. See how it goes here? It's a little widget, and then the little pictures show up, and it's just you and the person seeing it. Or if you added up to 10, 20 people.
So so these are pictures. Okay, so I'm just gonna go here. So they could have sent you the pictures via text or airdrop, and you still wouldn't have them.
Well, but this I think this was started because the boyfriend was in one area and the girlfriend was in another state or something. I forgot the story. I moved it somewhere. But that's what it is. So he couldn't airdrop them to her.
But there, I think Apple.
But remember, the phone, you can set up a shared album.
Exactly, and you can just drop the stuff in the photo.
But he wanted something on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, here it is. So he met his girlfriend. He was at University of California in Santa Barbara. He graduated before her, so he built an app that would allow them to share photos with each other while dating long distance. So he made this, and then they had it for 6 months. It was just the two of them, and then her friends saw it, and they wanted to be a part of it, and then he developed it as an app. But this is one of the things that's is going as part of social media, going from public to private. And that's why I always talk about Snapchat, because people are like Snapchat dead, and I'm like, Snapchat is going to be when Twitter falls, Snapchat is going to take the place, or it'll take some of that place, because there's a public space, there's a private space, there's a secret messaging part, there's this kind of thing in there. There's all kind of different ways to do it. It's just that there are other apps in front of it, and Snapchat is still hanging on. But I'm not saying Snapchat is going to take all of Twitter's users, but some of them will go there because if they already have it, instead of downloading something new. So getting to that about Twitter, what is it? Mastodon? Is that how you say it?
Not doing it. It's too hard. Mastodon is hard.
Right. So because it's hard, somebody made a new tool called Move to Dawn, making it easier to find your Twitter friends on Mastodon.
Oh no, I am not looking for you that hard.
So a new tool called Move to Dawn aims to make the transition from Twitter to Mastodon easier by allowing users to easily find and follow their Twitter friends on the network with minimal work. I don't believe it. There are already tools to find Twitter friends on Mastodon like Debirdify, Twitodon, and Fetty Finder.
Okay, see that no.
But see, this lets you this one lets you import all your Twitter friends who have Mastodon accounts. The other tools want to connect to your Twitter account, and they scan stuff, and they want you to download a CSV file and import it. Stuff I don't want to do. This tool does not make me want to use Mastodon. So, but it is there if somebody wants to use it, called Move to Dawn. All right, that brings us to Twitter. So there's not much updates going on or things like that, because again, Twitter's private now. They have one owner, Elon Musk. He does what he wants. He says what he says. He does what he does. I'm thinking the Addams Family. That's all. So now this week, he claimed that Apple threatened to withhold Twitter from the App Store, and he's saying that Apple also pulled most of its advertising from the platform. There was a big brouhaha and la 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 la, this and that. So then at the end of this is that Musk met with Apple CEO Tim Cook. They put their whatever the misunderstanding put under the rug. So he tweeted after the meeting, "Good conversation. Among other things, we resolved the misunderstanding about Twitter potentially being removed from the App Store. Tim was clear that Apple never considered doing so." So that was the big thing. So this is the thing, when Musk tweets something out, and he tweets a lot of crazy stuff. I don't even follow him. I just see the tweet from other people that I follow. So when he tweets something out, everybody goes crazy, and it's like, okay, he's doing it for attention because he needs the attention. He needs the advertisers. The Twitter Blue is still shut down. There's no revenue coming in. I think I heard something today about him giving some kind of deal to advertisers that if they advertise over 500K with them, that they get some kind of buy one get one free, some kind of stupid deal that he came up with. But that's what's going on with Twitter. It's still working, although yesterday, or I think earlier this week, the web version wasn't working. Like it was like I had a glitch or something, but my mobile app still works. So I'm like, uh-oh, that's a little shaking of the building as far as infrastructure. I'm trying to look at Twitter and I can't get in. Even though I was logged in, I couldn't see anything. And it said, "Oh, keep retrying" or something. I was like, uh-oh. Because remember, Twitter got rid of 75% of its workers. And what happens to some place like GM or Toyota or something when they get rid of 75% of the workers? Are they making cars?
No.
No. Who's mopping the floor? Who's turning on the lights? Who's doing this? 75%. I'm sorry. How can a business sustain that and they're not hiring and they're making the 25% work even harder? So that's what happened in Twitter land this week. Not much of productivity or new things or this and that. I did read a story. Someone from Twitter was saying that all of the ideas that he's proposing, they already thought of, and before he bought them, and they're saying that they're not going to work. So right now it's like watching, how you get a balloon for birthday, and they stay up, and then slowly the helium comes out, and it starts flowing. It was up there, and it's on the ground, dragging around with that string. So you got to get it and put a hole in it and push all the air out and throw in the garbage. That's Twitter. That's Twitter. Now, how much air they still have or helium or whatever, I don't know, but it's not on the ceiling anymore. It's not on the ground yet, but it's like watching that. That's the best analogy, and I just thought of it. I was trying to think about what's happening with Twitter. How do I explain it? And it's that balloon. That when you first buy it was tight with helium and then you just left it. It's like 3 days after your birthday. It's like slowly.
That's funny.
The helium is coming out of it. And then, but what fascinates me is that and I follow a lot of other people in marketing. They call themselves gurus and they're experts and stuff. Oh, Twitter's fine. Nothing's going to happen to Twitter. Twitter's too big to fail. And I'm like, y'all don't see that balloon? I'm like, it's crazy. So that's what's going on. It's really like just watching what's happening. So there's no like new social media updates to the app. It's just watching the house burn. Watching that balloon. And seeing people going, oh, everything's fine. It's still working. Yeah, we went through this with Blab. Okay, everybody remember Blab when we was on it? It was working. And all of a sudden they just turned the lights off. People in the middle of live streaming. People. In the middle of a live stream, and it went click. The lights went off. So, and that's not the only example. There's been others. So just because Twitter's here now and it's semi-working, it's just how the factory. If you had 100% workforce and now you only got 25%, is any product being made or any cars being pushed out in the assembly line? No. And that's where we are with Twitter. Anybody's thoughts, comments on Twitter? Do we care? Well, I know I don't care about Elon Musk. I don't care about him at all. It's just, he's in the news. He's in the news. So.
Bless his heart. Okay.
Well, that's the wrap. This is the wrap for the week for social media news. That's it.
Oh my goodness. That is so sad.
It is sad. It doesn't make me happy, but there's nothing I can do. It was privately bought. The person that bought it is a megalomaniac. He's not a genius. People love to call him a genius. I see that all. Elon's a genius. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. Anybody sane businessman would not run this Twitter business like that. And we're getting to see, because he had Tesla and SpaceX and this and that, and we're like, oh, he's great. I'm like, I think he just lucked out. And now we're getting to see the wizard behind the curtain. Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain.
Yeah, I think he just had some great people.
He had great people. He has great ideas, but he's not a businessman. This proves it. He's running this thing in the ground. A car that didn't need to be is being driven in. It's like crazy. And watching it is like nobody can. What was that thing where they were saying about the January 6th and Trump was trying to get the wheel, and they were Secret Service trying to pull him off the wheel, and he was trying to drive from the back seat. Anybody remember that? I just thought, I was like, that is just the craziest thing ever. Yeah, he was trying to, because he wanted to go to his people wherever they were, and the Secret Service trying to take him away. And he was like, no, we're going. And he's in the back. He's not driving. So he was reaching around. The guy trying to grab the guy. Driving the car. Yes, you don't remember? Oh my God. This is
I did not see any of that.
Yes. It came out. And then Trump was like, oh, that's a lie. He didn't do that. I was like, I would never do that. But he did. He was trying to get the guy. And then Secret Service had to pull him off of the other Secret Service guy. Oh yeah, that entertainment. So he was determined to go to he was determined to go to some. It was before he made the speech, but he was determined. I think he was determined to go to Capitol. I'm trying to remember the exact thing. All I could remember was that he was trying to grab the man from the back and grab his arm and try to get the car and turn it around from the back. That's how much he wanted to be with his people. But they were like, "No, sir, you couldn't do that." So they were, doing their job.
Wow.
I can't believe you didn't hear that. Yeah.
I didn't hear any of that, and I'm
Look
glad.
Trump tried to grab the Secret Service guy he's in the back.
I think I'm good.
He was
determined.
They were trying to take him away, and he was trying to go.
Well,
but that's
that's
it's just it doesn't have to be, but it is, and we have to. Unfortunately, we have to sit and we're in the boat, and we have to watch. Well, we don't have to watch. I watch. You guys don't have to watch, but I'm watching. Because there's the pro Musk people going, he knows what he's doing, and everybody that's saying is going, this is crazy, and we're getting off the boat. I believe Jim Carrey and other celebrities have announced that they left Twitter. They announced it that they left and they closed their account and they leave. But it's just interesting. It's a story, is what it is.
Yes, it is. Wow.
And Musk is happy because he said there's a lot of growth, a lot of signups, there's a lot of interest, but it's because he's driving it with his crazy antics. So we shall see what happens this week.
Yep.
All righty. Stay tuned. Oh,
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Oh.
All righty then. If you'd like to be a part of the BizChicks community, go to bizchicks.live and hit the subscribe button, and then just look for updates in the community there. We are shifting to be more engaged on our YouTube community, because TJ said something. I'm like, oh, take action on that. Nobody.
What did I say? I said a lot of things. What did I say
about the community on YouTube?
Oh, yes. I'm really excited. Really, I am. Because like I said, there was more updates about the community section, and YouTube realizes that this might be viable at this time, which is a smart move, because you want to get the attention while that boat is rocking. Twitter boat is rocking. Those people want to go somewhere, and they're upset because it's like, where did we go? And if you have a community, a tool already set up and say, hey, come on over here, because you can do XYZ like you did it over there. Some will go to YouTube. Some will go to Snapchat. Some will go to there's a couple of new things I've heard of. There's somebody building a new one that I'm watching. So it's going to splinter. But it's a good thing to try to get the attention of those people, because they want to get off the Titanic. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but
I'm just saying that we want a place where the community can gather. If something goes down, you can find us right here on YouTube, and just keep watch on the community pages. That's all.
Yeah. And if you haven't used YouTube, use it on I suggest using it on mobile. It's a good experience. I mean, because I never used it on mobile. I always use it on desktop. And I went over to mobile and was like, okay, there's a lot of good things going over there. So you might be pleasantly surprised. Give it a try. If it's not your thing and you don't want to be there, you want to try something else, it's always good to do that. And one thing about Instagram, there's been a lot of talk about Gen Z and millennials being unhappy with Instagram. I mean, there's been talk about that for a couple of months, but it's really ramped up this month for some reason. So I've been reading a lot of stories about how they're not happy with Instagram, and they're not opening the app, and they're moving over to TikTok or things. And then that's why I bring up the thing about the Lock It widget, because those things are starting to happen where, and the Be Real, remember Be Real is supposed to be, photos amongst us, a select group, a secret group. So we'll see more of that.
Okay, so I'm putting, I'm just putting stuff out. Let me know if y'all get it.
Okay.
Ask your community.
Right. And try to use the advantage of the time of Twitter that's still on there, to get some attention, but you want to push them to, like Fran said, your community at your building, whether it's one of the apps or it's Heartbeat or it's Mighty Networks or your own website. Your own website could be your own community. There are lots of tools depending on what platform you're using. I always say WordPress is great and they have a lot of things, but if you're not on WordPress, check out, if you're on Squarespace or one of the other places, check out and see what kind of community tools they have that you can add to your site. And then you can just drive them there, and that's something you own, and you don't have to worry about it. I mean, I say this because the days of social media being like everybody's open and public is coming slowly to a close because of these new apps and the things that are happening, and people don't want to be bullied and harassed and all that. So you might make a welcoming community. It won't be millions of people, but it'll be a small group of invested people in your business, and that's what you want. And then don't be afraid of only have a certain amount of people. Your people that are invested in you now, you encourage them, you give them incentive to bring new people into the fold for you. That's how it works. So forget the viral and I got 1 million followers. Those things, they don't put sales in. Don't put sales in your bank account. No. Invested fans, invested community members, and people invested in what you have to say and what you have to offer will do that, and they'll bring you new people. And that's it.
Interesting. Okay. All right. That is all we got for today. We'll be back to, Monday is First Monday. We'll have a special guest coming in, and we'd like to showcase whatever it is that you're doing. So please tune in with us on Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on YouTube at bizchicks.live, on Facebook or Facebook, Clubhouse, Twitter, because it does still show up over there, by the way. So while we're there.
Yep.
Thank you. Right. And we'll be talking next week.
Yeah.
We want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business. So go to the front of your own line. If you're stuck with your tech, call Fran.
Just DM us. Yeah, just DM.
And if you're stuck with your marketing strategies, make sure to check out TJ. We want to remind you, hey, we're here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 10 o'clock Central. And we look forward to you joining the conversation. Have a great day.
You can find me, Terry Johnson, online on your favorite platform, except for Twitter is WebGirl TJ. But Terry Johnson online, that's how you find me.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Todd.
Yes. Thank you all for your contributing. We'll see you soon, everyone. Don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.